So now we have a lot of our backend set up. So we're going to be setting up SignalR with our front end. So SignalR is our data transfer layer. It's going to be using WebSocket, and it essentially will allow me to invoke methods on the Angular side using TypeScript, and then on the ASP.NET Core Web API side. So that's what we'll be implementing right now. So if I look here at my Angular app and I look at chat under my chat component, I currently have a message box here that'll let me send a message. And then it has enter a message here, and then a couple of validations, and then a submit button, and then a list here displaying messages if there are any. If I look at my chat component, I'm implementing my chat service here, which is connecting to this hub called Chat Hub. So we need to implement Chat Hub. This should probably be in my auth properties. But when I look at this for connect to hub for chat service, that is using SignalR here. So it looks like I have a connection and a room received that I'm assigning it to. This is, I'm passing in here a room code when I join. Here are just a couple of functions that I've already written in to my SignalR client-side class. So now we need to write our server side. So to do that, we need to come over into our web API project, and I'm going to make a new hub just right here in the web API project called hub. And I'm going to add a new class in here called Chat Hub. If you recall, I did this a couple of videos ago, but I never implemented it, so we'll implement it now. We need to map Chat Hub to Chat Hub. And then if I look here at Chat Hub, what was that I saw the error for? We need to add in some functions. So in this, I want to have a new constructor, and I'm going to pass in my paths file. I'm going to pass in here a hub context for my hub called Chat Hub. So now in here I can have a protected read-only iPaths DJ radio called paths. I can have a read-only service called service. Now, I don't want to leave service open. Service should be disposable, right? So that way I can just call it when I need it. We also need a protected read-only called iHub context of my chat hub called Chat Hub. Now, why isn't this working? Because we're not inheriting from hub and it's not iDisposable. It needs to be, this needs to be SignalR, right? Let me add a new item in here, because I wonder if I can add a SignalR hub. I don't have it anymore. So why can't I see hub? It's a namespace, but it's used like a type. Oh, because I'm calling this hub. So this needs to be called hubs with an S, like that, and then hub. Okay. In this thing, I need to assign my paths, and that'll be it. We want to have in here something called a public asynchronous task called send message, which is going to pass us a message called a chat message. And all I want to do is I want to send it to all my clients here called send asynchronous to my receive message function, and it's going to be called message is my payload. Okay. We're going to send a chat message DTO. We need to say a chat message view model. Which is one of these. It's a message and an application user room DTO. Oh, let me run it. Sorry about that. There you go. All right, so now if I look at my OpenDJ project here, this one, when I connect to the hub here, where is this being called? Looks like I'm not calling that anywhere, but I am connecting to the hub here. So that means that I have a function on here called onConnected that we need to have. But at first I just want to do this dot receive message, and that's going to call receive message. And when I click that button, I wanted it to send message, which is here, send message, which is being invoked from the send message, which is being invoked from submit send message ng submit. Hey there, heyo, Hamid. You gotta get another vote in there. It was a tied vote. So we should be good to go here. So let me do a ng serve open. Start my app. And here's my app. So when I go to login, it's going to ask me to log into my OAuth server. And here we are. Now when I look at my send message, I'm going to say this is a test message. But you can see it never connected to the hub, so it's not going to work. And that's because I didn't start it. I also want to make sure that my hub is starting here. And here, and now we can start it. What will this Angular do? You can check it out on YouTube, and it's a music request app for the channel. This thing doesn't have dispose on it, so we need to have a public virtual void dispose, and then we can run it. Yay, making a web app. Okay, so here we can see that the server's running. I really should make it so it doesn't host a browser. Run it again. And now when I look at my Angular app, we will rerun our connection. And it's telling me that it can't find something WebSocket connected. Got a couple of errors going on here. So when I look at my Angular app for chat service TS, when I'm connecting here to the hub, I want it to on an error, I want to say there was an error. Hey there, Augusto Burrito. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, make sure you pop them into the chat. Got an active and supportive community. Make sure you check us out at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Thanks, A Fallen Hope. I appreciate that support. Okay, the other thing is that I should have another place on here where I'm catching error. No, guess not. And we're sending our message here. Let's simplify this a little bit. So I'm going to scrap some of this stuff for now. And then also I'll scrap this stuff. And this stuff. Okay, now we're having a problem with one of my components. So if I look at my home component HTML and I comment out my app YouTube component, still getting my errors here from Angular OAuth 2 OIDC. So let me log out and log in here under a different provider. And now we can see that things are looking right. This is in log level for utils.js. Stupid, I just don't want it to output to log. So now I can do a test, and this time it says cannot read property of username of undefined. So if I look at chat service, your connection builder here with a token and a room code. Room code, which is being passed in as a parameter. Token, which comes from your OAuth service. We don't need to catch anything on this. Messages.push. I message user. Okay. Now what we can do is we can look at the back end and see what's happening in the chat hub when we're invoking this. Okay, so now when I look at my message, it doesn't have an ID, it doesn't have an application user room, and it doesn't have a message. So nothing got passed across the pipe. So let me open this again. When I look at my iMessage interface, we have what we're saying is a message, which is a string, and a application user room, which is a application user room. So then we have an interface here for an application user room. And in this, it's just going to have a is online, which is a bool. It also needs to have in it the ID. Same thing here. Just a second. iMessage, like that. And the application user room, which I currently don't know. So in chat service, when we're connecting here, we do know our token, but we don't know the room code yet. So let me, on the back end here, open up in Chat Hubs, and we're going to create the auth method. So the first one is here. We need to have a public override asynchronous task called onConnected asynchronous. Beautiful. So now we're going to have a try catch in here. And what I want to do is I want to first get my context, get my HTTP context. I want to get a token from it. We're going to get it from the request and from the query string called token, which is what I'm passing across, and then also the room code. It's really hard, this game. It's not that bad. You guys got to work together on your votes, unless I need to change the rules so if you guys both vote the same letters that it just picks one of the two. What do you think? Now what I need to do is I need to get the information about that user from their token. So to do that, I'm going to do a var user info client equals a new user info client. And it needs to pass in here an endpoint. So just a second while I add that endpoint to my paths file. We need to have a identity server user info endpoint. Okay. Okay, and now we want to do a var response, which is equal to the await user info client dot get asynchronous, and it's going to be our token. And then I want to get my username from that, which is my response.claims.toList.first s, where my type is equal to name, and we want to get the value. We also need to get the user ID. Okay. And then what I need to do is I need to get my application user. And we're going to do a using var OpenDJ radio. We're just going to call it service OpenDJ radio services. Now when I look at this, it wants a couple of things here. So in here, instead of making it like that, I need to add in these functions a using var context equals new application DB context. So in this whole file, I can change context to be context. And then we need to implement these disposed functions like that. Just a few more. What was the word? You want to start again? Okay. There. We have one here, here. And this is because I'm changing the lifespan of my contexts. Okay, a few more. We have one here, and then this one, and then this one. Yeah, what a weird word that it chose, right? Let's hope this one's a little bit more regular. That one. That one. That one. This one. This one. That one. We're almost done with currencies, which is our halfway point. We have 2 for the logs. 1, 2. one for the other logs, one, two. We have a playlist, which has 4 of them, 3, 4, so 1, 2, oops, 3, and then 4, and then room, which is this one, and then this one, and then room. Okay, we have one for song. And then we're going to have one for song playlists. Okay. Song playlist here. We got this one. This one. Fallen Hope, if you have suggestions to make it better, it's because it's a consensus vote. But I think if it's tied, I think it should just maybe pick one of the two. What do you think? And then this one for transactions, and then we have one table less. Transactions here. Two, three, and then we can scrap these. Okay. Now we can get rid of that. Now I can pass this in as a OpenDJ radio services, call it services, and then this is a protected read-only OpenDJ radio services called services, and we'll assign it. So instead of doing this now, we can do a await here on my services dot. I want to do read application user asynchronous using their user ID. If my application user is equal to null, then I want to make a user. Application user equals await services dot create application user asynchronous, passing in one of these requests. Which is here. The username is equal to username, and the room code is equal to username. Now, first, what I want to do is while my await services dot context dot, let me go add that. No, I should just be able to do a using var context equals new application db context. And then I can say while my await context dot, and we want to look in the users, application users dot rooms, any asynchronous s where my s dot room code dot trim dot toLower is equal to your username dot trim dot toLower. Then I want to do a var index equals 0, and I want to say my username equals my username plus index plus plus. This prevents two rooms from having the same code. Oh man, it's a little word. The little words are the hardest. So here we want to say var room code equals username. Like that. Like that. And room code new. And now what I need to do is get the room, right? When I create this user, it should add a room and return that. And this one we want to include the room. Same thing here. Okay. So now that that's done, I want to do I have the room created. The room is attached here. So now what I need to do is read my room in. So we're going to do So now what I want to do is I want to say that my room code Moni, M-O-N-Y? Moni? What is that? Is it just making up words? Maybe I need a new API. No, that's a word. So I want to say if the room was not specified, then get it here. So we're going to say if my room code was equal to undefined, or my room code is equal to nothing, then I'm going to do my room equals await my service dot read room asynchronous of my application user dot room dot ID. Otherwise, I want to get my room equal to the services dot read room asynchronous of my room code. And we would need to have a room view model called room. If I look at read room, we also need to have this with a string. Okay, so now if my room does not equal to null, now what I want to do is a room equals my await my service dot update my room, and we're going to pass in a room update request, and I want to say the room is online is true, the room is public is true, the room code is going to be equal to my room code new. My ID here is equal to my room.id. Now I want to say var application user room is equal to my await service dot read application user room asynchronous of my application user Now when I look at this one, we want to get it for the GUID application user and the GUID room. And if in fact my application user room is null, then for the record, you were supposed to break out of the application user loop here. Okay. Because you're updating it here, we don't care about this. This needs to be my room code. And then we can get rid of this one and put it here. So if my room is null, then I need to create it. And I want to pass in here a new create request, which is my is online is true. My room ID is equal to room.id. We need to also say my application user ID is my application user.id. Now that we're done with that, we need to create the connection. Create application services dot create application user room connection asynchronous. which needs to have the application user room.id. Connection ID is my context.connection ID. Is online equals true. And now that that's done, I can do a await base.on connected asynchronous, my original function, and then do a await clients.caller.send asynchronous, a receive data function where we're going to pass in a new, what I'm going to call chat data. And in this, it's going to be a prop application user VM called application user and a room hold on one second. I think we want a DTO and a room DTO. Just one second though. If I look at these things, yeah, that's all I want. Nope, here I'll start it up for you guys. Right now, I don't have it set up on a timer. Now this is wrong because I don't want to send that. I want to send a application user DTO, a room DTO, and an application user room DTO. We don't have a mapper in here. Okay, now we do. So this is a mapper.map to my application user DTO from my application user. And then we want to do a room equals mapper.map from my room DTO to room. And then we want to do a application user room equals mapper.map application user room DTO called my application user room. Like that. So down here, this needs to have a catch in it, which doesn't do anything. Okay. And so now we need to, on the other side of the coin, have a receive data function. Right here. So we're going to say this dot hub connection dot on receive data. We're going to pass in this data, which is an iChat data. And we are going to assign them here as this dot user equals data dot user and this dot room current equals data dot room. We also want to say this dot user room current equals data dot user. It's going to be called application user. So if I look at chat data, we need to have in here something called a application user, which is a application user. Which is a username doesn't look like that. There's no display name. There's an ASP.NET. There's a room. There's a int for my song pool count max. There's a playlist count. Okay, my room has this. Room code is public. This is room online and the application user ID. And then we also need to have the interface here called application user room, which is what we're calling a application user, which is a application user. And then we also need to have a room, which is a iRoom. I don't have pixels working. Sorry, not at the moment. Man, you guys are having a tough one with this one. I hope it's a real word this time. Might need a new API if that's retrieving the words. And the other thing is this ID, which is a string. Same thing with this. Same thing with this. And then the last one that we need is a application user room, which is a application user room. And we also need to have a is online in here, which is a Boolean. And the last one is a room DTO. This is a room DTO needs to have these things which says is room public, like that. So up here, this user needs to be an iApplication user as a application user. We also need to have a application user room, which is one of these. A room code in our rooms that we're currently in. Like that. And this is my application user room current equals application user room. And then when I'm sending my message, my user equals my application user, which we're going to change message here to be called application user room. That one. Now in the service, it's telling me it still has some errors. I don't see where it is happening. In iMessage, application user room, we're going to change this to be called iChat message. Yeah. So let's go ahead and stop it and do a new ng serve open. Okay, it says cannot find iMessage here, so let's find it. This needs to be iChat message. And now it's working. Okay. This one in my chat service needs to be iChat message. Same thing here. Same thing here. And here again. So now when I run this, I have to implement a few questions. Why is that in there? It's set really easy, so I need a new API to retrieve words. That's an easy fix. Let's go ahead and add these two here, which we have a read user room asynchronous. Here. And this is a virtual asynchronous task, and we need to do one of these. And I want to get my application user rooms where my application user ID is equal to application user ID, and my s dot room ID is equal to room ID, and it's active. Okay, the other one that I needed to implement was read room asynchronous, which is here. And we can pretty much copy this one and do this as a virtual asynchronous task. And this one I want to do my s.roomcode.trim.toLower is equal to roomcode.trim.toLower. And it's active. Now we can run the backend. I can watch in the chat hub for when I receive data. And we can go ahead and log in. It's going to get my context and a token. Let me verify that that worked. I got a token. My room code is nothing because I didn't pass one in. We're going to get my user info client, which I got a response on it, and no connection could be named because the target machine actively refused it. So let me change my path here for my identity server URL, which is going to be https dot I think it's that. And that would be the same thing here. We'll try that again. Hey Clunch, how are you doing? It's been a bit. Welcome back. Doing great. Working on an Angular CLI project right now. Go ahead and reconnect on this. Here we go. We got my HTTP context, getting the room code, getting the response. Let me make sure I got something here. Unauthorized, it says. Why would this be telling me that it's unauthorized? Just a second here. Why would this be telling me it's unauthorized? Second. Four, 4, 3, 6, 1. And 5, 4, 4, 9, 4. So that one's off. It should be working here because it should be allowing this redirect URL. Well, wait a second. I need to look at the startup, we're adding this add signal R cores policy here. Allow any with the Angular web app URL. But that's not where my origin is coming from. Where is my origin coming from? But this should be allowing the SignalR policy to connect. Right, so that is working, but it's this one connected to the web API is not working. So let me look at my config for my identity. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so if I was to run it again and check to see where this thing is hitting, I should be able to get like a request. Let me get my context here. Okay, where is it coming from? Four, 44361. Okay, so instead of hitting the identity server again, what I can probably do is have it hit this accounts endpoint. Interesting. So it's not authorizing my web API. It's very bizarre why that wouldn't work. Why wouldn't that work? We're going to do a user info client unauthorized. It says that it's a certificate issue. So so it looks like I'm going to have to fix the certificate problem because it's a self-signed cert. Right? So if I was to remove the this and run it again, and now in my chat hub service, I need to connect to here. This time, still says unauthorized. So now what I need to do is change my seeded data in the identity server. Okay. I need to delete that client now from the identity server. I don't know if I can show that. Just a second here. Oh, I can't do that yet. Well, we'll let this game finish for you guys. Looks like I think you got a win here. Well, there it is. You guys got it. Congrats. Look at how happy he is. Nicely done. And now you can check your rewards if you want with an HHZ. Nicely done, guys. It's a good feeling when you win that one, right? All right, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back here in 12 minutes. When we get back, we can play some more Hungry Hungry Zombies. We're going to pick up where we left off, keep moving forward with this project. If you haven't, make sure you click the follow. I need to update my identity server. It looks like I'm having some kind of a cert problem with it, and trying to hit the trying to hit the web API, the identity server endpoint. So I need to find out kind of what's going on with that. And so yeah, if you guys have any questions, please make sure that you pop them into the chat. We got a really active and supportive community. Thank you for being a part of it. Discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com, youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. I'll see you guys in just 10, say 11 minutes already. See you in just a bit.